Hello you guys, welcome back to a new day, new vlog. My name is Tiffany. You guys never seen my face before. Hello, I'm Tiffany and it's very nice to meet you. Today is May 30th and it's been a while since we've talked, but you know, life hasn't just been very exciting. Let's see, ever since I graduated nursing school, I studied for the NCLEX for about a month, and then I took the NCLEX. I passed the NCLEX, and then now I'm just looking for jobs. But today I thought I would just sit down and finally talk about my nursing program that I was in. If you guys didn't know, I attended Roseman University of Health Sciences in Las Vegas, and I was in the ABSN program. I do get some questions here and there about the program, so I thought I would just sit down and talk about it. So if you guys are interested in the ABSN program, then just keep on watching. So I wanted to start off with kind of like a background about me because, I don't know, because it is a second degree. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. It's like for people who have like a bachelor's degree in something. And so, I don't know, just thought I would share it with you guys. But I have a bachelor's of science in human biology, and no, you don't need to have a biology major. You actually just need to have some kind of college experience or like a degree in something in order to at least qualify. So after I graduated, when I wanted to go into nursing, my mom actually found Roseman. She was kind of just like searching around for nursing schools, and guys, like all of these requirements looked the same at one point, so I was just like, I don't know. But I was looking at like their website, and then there's like a spot where you can like put in your information to get more information about the school. They actually connected me with an admissions advisor, and she was super helpful, you guys. Like, definitely talk to one. So she told me everything I needed to know about the school, and then she also answered all my questions. And also, the best part though is that she had me send in my unofficial transcript to her, and she pretty much went through it and told me what I needed. So I basically only needed human anatomy. I needed to boost my GP a tiny little bit, and also I need to take the TEAS exam, which, by the way, I didn't know what it was until she told me. So thank goodness for her, because I would have been so lost. But that was pretty much it. And then when May came around, I got like an email from her about like how to apply and everything with like the links, and yeah, the rest is history. And then had my interview, then somehow got in on a miracle, and there I began my nursing school journey. So that was the applying part. I do remember I struggled so hard on like the transcript part. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just pressing buttons and these words aren't working. I don't know what to do, but somehow I figured it out. There you go. And then so what, you know, when she was telling me about the school, everything kind of just went over here. The scariest part, honestly, was the 90% part, and I was super intimidated because your girl is not an A student. I'm like a C average, maybe B's on a good day, and A's in writing classes, and I took Chinese in college, so I got A's in that. Yeah, but yeah, it was really intimidating to me. And I remember like 3 days before, I was kind of just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Like 90%, really? I'm gonna get kicked out on the first week. I don't know. But you know, honestly, you adapt quickly to the process, and there's a process to everything. So if you really just figure out like like how you learn and like how you study, you know, like you'll be fine. That's pretty much what I had to do. Like the first 2 weeks is like what do you call it? I can't remember. Oh, it was introduction to okay, hold on. It was Introduction to Nursing, and since the exam was kind of like a practice exam, it kind of helped me really prepare for it because I was able to really do a lot of trial and error in how I study for this material. So when it did start mattering, then I would like know what to do in the future, if that makes sense. So you might be wondering, what happens if you don't get a 90%? That definitely has happened to me before, and it happened to me in Adult Health 1. So, whew, Adult Health 1, that was a nightmare. That was so different, okay? Because we went from like memorizing stuff in pharmacology to Adult Health 1 where we have to remember stuff and then apply it. So the way they asked the question was super different, at least that's what I thought. And so I messed up and I had to remediate. So basically, if you don't hit the 90% mark on your exam, then you go into remediation. And most of the time, our initial exam was like on a Friday, and then like our remediation was on that following Monday. So you kind of have like the entire weekend to study. Not gonna lie, never wanted to do it again. Thank goodness, never did that again. It was just super stressful, but you know, they're giving you another chance, right? I think they have like another webinar for you for people who have to remediate, and then on Monday at 7:30 a.m., the same time you would take any other exam, you would have another chance to take a completely different exam. And the thing, well, I'll explain a little bit more about like the exam process, but this will make sense later. But basically, when you remediate though, it's just based on your points, and you do get like the challenged points if you get accepted or whatever, but other than that, it's pretty much on you to get that 90% or higher. So the next question is, what happens if you don't get that 90% or higher? Then you go into block remediation, which I believe happens like once every few months, and you pretty much just take another exam and you try to get that 90% again. And the dreaded next question is, what happens if you don't get that 90%? Well, I think this is what happens. You have to wait for the cohort behind you to catch up to that block, and then you join them. So it's a good thing. You don't get kicked out and you get many chances, but chances are you are going to get that 90% on your first or second try. So keep your head high. See, I have like a list of things like that I wanted to talk about. So yeah. So next, let's talk about the online platform. So this entire program is mostly online, with exceptions to like labs and clinicals. But other than that, all of it's online. So all of like your learning, like your PowerPoints, your textbook learning, pretty much you're teaching yourself in a sense. And that is something I didn't know when I signed up for this. Honestly, I kind of liked it more than having a professor like telling me what to do, only because I got to learn at my own pace, and then I also, you know, got to do it in the comfort of my own house, because again, I did go to like a 4-year college, and you know, you would have to drive to school, you would have to find parking, which you guys know is always a nightmare, and then you have to walk up a hill, and that was for me. I had to walk up a hill, and then you gotta go sit down in a class for like 2 hours and repeat. So it was really nice to be able to like wake up and just open your computer and just start studying. And sometimes I would just go to the public library. That was one of my favorite places, or like I would go to a coffee shop or something. So that's really nice about like the online. We do have like webinars here and there, but pretty much they happen like 2 days before. I think it was like 2 days before an exam. Sometimes it's the day before, and some blocks, like the harder ones, do have more than one webinar, but you do get to ask your professor questions. And of course, without the webinar, you can also like email them, and they usually get back to you within like 24 hours. So even though we're not like in front of a professor all the time, you still have the chance to like go talk to them. You can email them, you can text them, which is something that it's super new to me because I never thought I would have to text a professor, but that's a thing. And yeah, that's pretty much everything about the online portion. So something else that's really different about this program that, at least for me, was super different was the block curriculum. So you know, like in traditional schools, you do like 4 to 5 classes at a time and you're like, oh my god, information overload. But for this program, we do everything one at a time. So you would do like block 1, which was introduction to nursing, and that was about 2 weeks, and then you take the exam, and then if you pass, then you move on to the next one, which was block 2, which was, ooh, let's see, that was health assessment, and then so forth. You just keep going until you graduate. So that really helped me because I wanted to really focus, and it helped me focus on like the material. So that was that. And finally, let's talk about the exam process actually, because this is actually something that was super new to me as well. So basically you take the exam like 4 times. Pretty much, you get to see it 4 times. So the first time you take it yourself. It's usually 60 questions. I remember pharmacology was a little bit more. I can't remember like how much more. It was increments of 10 though, so it was like either 70, 80, or 90. I don't know, but anyways, you do get like 60 questions ish per exam, and then after that, you take it with your cohort team as a team. Really nice because if you get a 90% or higher with your team, you get like points added to your original score. So if you don't get like the 90 initially, like you have like points that can be added to you. What am I saying? You can get points added to your original score thanks to your team. And then I can't remember how many points it is though. That shows how long I've been out of school. And then the third time you do it, it's kind of like an answer key. You get to go through and then you get to see like which ones you got wrong, and that's because for step 4 you get to challenge these questions. So let's just say like for number 7 you thought B was the right answer, right? And you have like good reasoning, so they allow you to get your textbooks and then you can flip through the right page and then you can write down your own rationale, like you think B is correct because, and then you quote the book. And then don't forget your sources because they won't even look at it if you don't put a source. That was pretty much the exam process. I personally kind of liked taking exam. Well, I didn't like the exam, but I liked being like in the room with my classmates because that rarely happens. So it's kind of nice being with your entire class in one room for like a couple hours, even though we're all stressed out and want to cry. So that's pretty much everything I know about the school. Some questions I do get is like how often we are on campus. It really depends on the block. That's a really hard question to answer just because like I guess it also depends on your cohort. There were times where like labs would be like next like Tuesday and Wednesday, you know, like that, and then some of them would be like Tuesday and then Thursday, if that makes sense. So it really depends on your cohort, and it also depends on the block. So I can't really answer that question too confidently. Another question I do get is why I chose BSN over like the other types of nursing that you can go into. I chose BSN because I already had a college degree, so ABSN made a lot more sense for my case. And also I do want to go back to grad school for my master's in nursing, emphasizing in education, because I do want to become a professor. So that was something for me, like, you know, when I'm planning ahead into life. And also employers are also preferring BSN nowadays, so that was also me looking very forward to the future. So that is why I chose like the BSN over like ADN. But that's pretty much it for this video. It's been a pretty long one and pretty chatty, so thank you guys if you guys made it this far. If you guys have any more questions about Roseman, please let me know down below. But that's pretty much it for this video, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.